Welcome back to Monday Night Football. I'm Jim Gray right here on Westwood One. It's brought to you by Thomson Reuters, the world's leading source of intelligent information for businesses and professionals in finance, law, tax and accounting, science, healthcare, and media. Knowledge to act. Visit them at ThomsonReuters.com. Well, the longest and most expensive campaign in our nation's history comes to an end tonight. The election is tomorrow. With that, we want to send out our condolences to the 86-year-old grandmother of Barack Obama. Madeline Dunham died just a few hours ago in Honolulu. She lost her battle with cancer. Obama issued a statement calling her the cornerstone of his family. Earlier, when I spoke to Barack Obama, he did not have knowledge of that passing. I started our conversation by asking him how he's doing.
I am doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. It's the night before the election. How nervous are you?
Well, I think at this point, not to use sports metaphors, but you've left everything on the field, and now you just got to see how it turns out. We feel like we've done everything we could. I think we've run a terrific campaign. People are, ready to change course and change the economy and change our foreign policy, and I think we've got a great shot. But you don't know until the buzzer sounds.
Your entire campaign has had the theme of change. What are a couple of things in sports that you would like to see changed?
Well, I tell you what, I am a big believer that we should have playoffs in college football. I don't know who has thought this whole thing out, but it is time for us to go ahead and have a playoff. I figure, 8 teams, 3 games for the national championship. That's common sense. That's what Americans are looking for.
It's a good idea. Hopefully, if you get in office, you'll be able to push that through.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my top legislative priorities.
I'm sure it is. Jim Gray with Senator Barack Obama. Senator, there's a win-at-all-cost mentality in professional sports today, and it's often said in locker rooms that if you're not cheating, you're not trying. We see it with athletes who try and gain an edge with performance-enhancing drugs. We've seen it with teams in the case of Spygate. What can you do as president to change this culture of winning with total disregard to the rules?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think there's a parallel in what's happened with politics, right, where there's sort of an anything-goes, slash-and-burn mentality in politics that you try to destroy the other person instead of just having a civil argument. And I think the idea of sportsmanship, the idea of civility, the idea that you can compete fiercely without playing dirty, I think that's something that a president can project, and I think that parents have to instill. I think about some of the great rivalries of the past. Let's say Magic and Bird. Those guys were the fiercest competitors, played the toughest games, but they always respected each other, and that, I think, is the attitude that we've got to return to, and I think the president can set the tone.
And President Carter and Ford became very good friends after a bitter struggle and rivalry.
Absolutely.
You've stated throughout your campaign, Senator Obama, that 95% of Americans will get a tax break. However, virtually all of professional athletes in our country earn more than $250,000 a year, and that passes your stated threshold, and they'll see a tax increase.
They will.
However, if you take into account that the average career in the NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball is less than 5 years, is it fair to have a tax policy that hits so hard on people whose earning capacity is such a short period of time?
Well, a couple of points I guess I would make. Number one, obviously there's a big difference between superstars and journeymen, and I understand that. But if somebody's even making $500,000 a year, I don't know what the average salary right now in the NFL or the NBA is, or Major League Baseball, but I'm sure that it's probably higher than that. But if you're making $500,000 a year, you're making more than the average person makes in a decade. And for us to go from the tax rate that we have now to back to where we had it when Bill Clinton was president, I don't remember major league athletes really hurting during the 1990s. I think they were doing just fine. So we're not looking at punitive tax rates. We're looking at a slight increase so we can give a tax break to the waitress or the firefighter, who I guarantee you would be happy to make the minimum in any of the major league sports, even if it was only for 1 year, much less for 5.
Senator Barack Obama.